And now over to the Oval for the cricket.
Thank you very much. Well, in fact, we're not at the Oval, as you can see, because unfortunately bad light closed play early, and we popped round here to the El Mambo restaurant for a quick bite. And I must say, the El Mambo is as full tonight as I've ever seen it. Richie, have you ever seen the El Mambo quite as full as this?
No, I don't think I have. It certainly is very full here tonight. I think probably because there are so many people here. I think that would account for it. I should think there must be almost upwards of nearly 30 people here now.
And you, Peter?
Yes, I certainly think that is so. Well, I see the waiter coming towards us now from the cocktail bar end. Moving in between the tables with that slow, almost lolloping walk of his. And as he comes in towards our table, over to you, John.
Yes, here's a really wonderful example of a very accurate slow waiter. Coming here with this lovely lazy action, and he's about to hand me the menu. You'll notice he's bending as he does so, and he hands me, thank you very much indeed. Richie, did you notice, by the way, that he happens to be a left-hander? Did you notice?
Yes, I did. I did notice that, John. In fact, yes, I thought he was going to transfer it to his right, but he hung on to it with his left, and I think that must be fairly uncommon.
Yes. Perhaps John Hammond can tell us exactly how many left-handed waiters there are in this part of London. And while John's working that out, perhaps we can have a little look at the menu here. There we are.
Yes, well, there it is. I see the ice cream has just gone up. Yeah, I notice also that the minestrone and the chicken risotto are back on the menu again. Now, what do you make of that, John?
Well, I'm very pleased to see that minestrone back on there. You know, it's the sort of thing this meal really needed. I'm pleased they've dropped the suet pudding. I'm glad to see that. And I'm frankly quite amazed to see that chicken risotto getting a second chance.
Richie, you had experience of the chicken risotto in Australia last year. What did you think of it then?
Well, Peter, I think it's very easy to underestimate the risotto. I think the ingredients are all there. You could fare a lot worse. Of course, there is the question of the runs to be considered.
I'm very pleased indeed to see that they've decided to drop the fried haddock. Apparently that was found to be off colour late last night, I did.
Yes, of course, if you want something solid, you can't do better than the roast beef with the full weight of Yorkshire behind it.
Yes, all right. Well, personally, there you are. I think I shall go for the minestrone and the chicken risotto with a follow-on.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you there, Peter, because, in fact, Richie has just put his finger right in the mustard there.
Yes, I certainly did there, John. I was just reaching out there to get the olives, and I stuck my thumb in the mustard.
Perhaps we could see that again. Do you think we could see that? There we are now. The hand is coming on the sauce. Going for the olives and right into the mustard. They went right in there and think that that's it. Yes, indeed. Get that little turn off the table. Well, in fact, we're back live now. We're in fact back live. And Joss Hammond has just told me that apparently there are 28 left-handed waiters in this part of London, and 16 of those have beards.
Oh, now, I have to stop you there, John. I have, in fact, now knocked over a glass of beer.
You knocked it right over, did you,
Yes,
Richie?
I certainly did, John. I just reached down, put my hand down on the table, and the whole thing... Now the table is broken. The whole side of it's collapsed, I'm afraid.
Well, this is something I'm sure none of us have envisaged. The complete and total collapse of the side. It's just all just happening. Now, what about this, Peter?
Well, no, that certainly is an extraordinary spell for Richie. I mean, in 30 seconds, he's put his thumb right in the mustard. He knocked over his own beer and smashed the table.
Yes, perhaps Joss Hammond can tell us when this last happened at the El Mambo.
If indeed it ever has.
If indeed it ever has. You're quite... Well, now, the manager is having a word with Richie now, and I think we're being asked to leave.
Yes, I think we are being asked.
Yes, we are being asked to leave. Yes, I'm sure we are. Yes, well, that is the meal. Meal is over. We are now being asked to leave. The manager has now got me by the coat, and Joss Hammond tells me the manager is also a left-hander, and he is...
And now, back to the studio.